What's up? Welcome back to another episode of That's What's Up, That's What's Up, That's What's Up. It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn, back again with the man to the left of me, Dan the Man, independent graphic designer, and the man to the right, a Boogie, but only I get to call him that. It's my man Aaron, independent game designer, creator, innovator, all of that. Remember that. And you know what's up. We're back with another discussion of all things that you guys like to talk about. And today, it's favorite comic book movies. And this is, we could go on for 45 minutes about this. Unfortunately, we only got 15. But we're going to get into this one. Let's start it off. Aaron, comes to mind, what's your favorite comic book movie?
I mean, I have been a Superman fan since I was like little. I mean, my daddy made like a little Superman cape for me and everything. So I've been like, dreaming to fly and everything. So I'm gonna have to say that the recent Man of Steel is probably one of the best comic book movies that come out in quite a while.
I mean, I agree. It's been so long since we've had a good Superman movie. Dan, what's your thoughts on Man of Steel as far as its placement?
Well, the Man of Steel, best Superman movie for sure. I don't think that there's anyone on the planet that can disagree. If you want, go ahead and post something.
Post in the comments section. We'll start arguing with you.
We'll send it to Krypton.
Yeah, because I mean, this
that's
is
where it
clearly
belongs.
the best Superman movie to date.
Definitely.
Loved it. It's in my top favorites. It's not my number one, but I can see why Aaron chose it.
Well,
It was well done.
Let's get into some discussion while we take a look at the trailer for Man of Steel as far as what made this such a good comic book movie. Because I agree, it's one of the best comic book movies that I've seen in a while. It's definitely the best Superman movie we had. I don't understand how some people didn't like it. I think one of the biggest complaints that people had about Superman Returns was you didn't get to see Superman doing enough Superman shit.
But the reality is that you're never going to get to see Superman doing this super stuff. I mean, really. The thing that made this so cool is because you got to see kind of like the beginnings of it. You also got to see Krypton and Krypton fall apart.
Yeah.
You got to feel the build-up of it all. And I mean, honestly, you couldn't have asked for a better director. Zack Snyder is awesome.
Zack Snyder's good. Did Dawn of the Dead. You can never go wrong with Dawn of the Dead.
You can.
So, as far as Superman movies, you know what I'm saying, like the comparison, I mean, obviously, Christopher Reeves, there's a nostalgic place in everybody's heart for the Christopher Reeves movies, but with the advancements in technology and you're able to do the things, I mean, Man of Steel just took it to that
Well,
next level.
I think aside from that, I think if you just took the stories and compared them, if you had all the scripts laid out and you read them all, this is clearly the best one.
Yeah.
It gets into the origin. You see where he comes from, and it focuses on the fact that, hey, he's an alien.
He's not from Earth. He's
Right.
not
He's not
from
from
ours.
I think Man of Steel did the best job of portraying that.
I mean, it's obvious, but it's not really something that's been taken into consideration story-wise.
At least not focused on it. That's for
Yeah. No, I do like. I think it was like was it the second Superman where it started off with Marlon Brando
Yeah.
as Jor-El? I loved the hell out of that scene. It was just something very visceral
Well,
about
I
it.
mean, also, you can't really go wrong with Marlon Brando.
No, you
He
can't.
does a great job.
Shouts
But I mean,
out to the Godfather.
realistically, I mean, no offense to Christopher Reeves, rest in peace, but that movie should stay in the 80s where it belongs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we're in a new age. Superman should be doing very cool things. I think one of the things I really like about this is that it's not Superman, it's Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It's
They
more
have it-
serious, he's tougher. Let's face it, Superman is a character that kicks ass.
I mean, there's
It
only
has a
one
potential
time.
to.
There's only one time in Man of Steel where they actually refer to him as Superman.
Right?
It's like we're coming back and Superman's in tow, and the dude's like, "Who the fuck is Superman?"
Right?
They're like,
so
"The
that's what
alien."
they're calling it.
They're alien, yeah. And they did a good job of that. They
Yeah.
did such a good job of that. I mean, in the action, I don't even want to talk about that. The fight scenes between
bananas.
it's fucking
Bananas.
nuts. It's fucking nuts. I mean, and I even like the world engine that they use. The
Yeah.
destruction scenes that the world engine calls epic, fucking epic.
That
You
was-
really felt like this city's doomed.
Yeah,
This
the whole
city's
world's doomed.
The whole world's doomed.
You know?
We need somebody bigger than our military
And I
to
think-
handle it.
I think the biggest thing for me is the fact that, like, with the current course of our world and politics and everything else, I really think that we need something that brings forth morality.
Yeah.
And really, there's not a better superhero that does that other than Superman.
Mhm.
No one. I mean, he stands for the good in everybody. You know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Zack Snyder, since he's the one who directed this, we're going to take it over to you, Dan, and what do you think your favorite comic book movie is? If I'm not mistaken, that's why I referenced Zack Snyder.
Well, yes, my favorite comic book movie by far is The Watchmen.
I mean, Watchmen's another good one. I can't disagree with that one too much. Zack Snyder, if
He's
people
2 for 2
sleep,
right
he's
now.
2 for 2. He's 2
You know,
for
I
2.
mean, like-
In our circle, which is what counts, he's 2 for 2.
Now when The Watchmen came out, there was, at the time, there was nothing else in my mind that really compared to it. And jump to now, and all the films that were based off of comic book titles that have come out, and a lot of them have been really good.
Yeah, there have been, and this is what makes this conversation is because there's a lot of good comic book movies to choose from.
It's true, especially in recent choices. I mean, especially with the X-Men movies, the Avengers. I mean, there's been a lot of big hits.
I'm gonna throw the trailer on for Watchmen. We can look at continue this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, and you know what I liked about Watchmen is its sense of reality mixed with fantasy. You know, it was very dark. It was very gritty. It had that deep feeling where like these guys aren't just your run-of-the-mill superheroes. They're real people that just happen to have these gifts and try to learn how to deal
Yeah.
with them.
And there was a lot more going on. It wasn't about, hey, we are superheroes and watch us do cool shit.
Right.
And there was a real interesting story going on. The geopolitical segment, and
Yeah.
the idea that in the end that humanity just really needed something to get behind.
Right.
And you know what? If they sacrificed themselves in the end, both sides really agreed. Okay, you know what? If this is what brings people together, and will bring peace to the world, and we're going to be cast as the bad guys.
That's really what it felt like too. They were doing what they had to do.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what the world wanted them to do. And I think they
Yeah.
showed that a lot
Yeah.
as they got further in the scenes. And you had the comedian.
I think
And
the
then
comedian.
the riots there, and he was just blasting people. I really felt that they did a really good job with that.
They did a very good job of that. I thought one of the best scenes, something that you'll never see in any other comic book movie, is the scene where the comedian goes to his arch villain's house and
Yeah.
starts confessing and crying. And it's like, even his arch villain was like, what the fuck?
Right? No, he was
Seriously.
freaked out.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
freaked out. That was some crazy. I mean,
And just to say, Zack Snyder is like 2 for 2 with epic trailers.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I mean, because
This is
both,
an awesome
both
trailer.
Man of Steel and Watchmen, you watch this trailer and you're like, I need to see that.
I
Oh,
need to see
absolutely,
this
yeah.
movie. And
And
it
he
did.
delivered.
He delivered. I was in line
Didn't
first day to
disappoint.
see Watchmen and Man of Steel. I mean, two awesome movies.
Just real quick, what really impressed me in this film was the character development.
Oh, yeah.
Every single character, there was something going on. I mean, you really got a clue who they were,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and how well they interacted with each other, and what their motivations were. That's what really got me hooked on this movie. Was just cause I hadn't seen that before. I've been waiting for it, and they
Yeah.
finally did it
And,
right.
and even as powerful as Dr. Manhattan was, he still had that sense of like, am I doing right?
The scene where he thought he had given cancer to his ex
Yeah,
girlfriend.
I mean that's what I
Oh
like
my
about it.
goodness,
He's
this is
this
a man-
all-powerful being, that could practically do anything, and yet even he questions his judgment. I mean, how much more human can you get than that?
I mean, that's an awesome movie. And to top off that, it was a hard R-rated movie that didn't hold back. I mean, it didn't hold back at all. The scenes,
In many
in
different
many ways, the scenes we're not gonna, the scenes with Rorschach in prison.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome!
Yeah, I'm
scenes.
not in here with you.
You're in here with me.
I mean,
Great.
violence.
Yeah.
Violence. I loved it, but because that's something that up until that point, given the exception of say, the Blade series, you hadn't seen a comic book movie get that much of a push and have an R rating.
Mhm.
I mean, up until that, this was
I mean, sometimes I think Blade gets slept on too. a little
Blade
bit.
2 absolutely gets slept on. We're not going to have time to show the trailer,
No.
but that's a movie that absolutely is
Blade,
worthy to
Blade
be
is slept
thrown
on.
into the
as far as
conversation.
like vampire movies and things go. I mean, Blade's great.
Yeah,
It's
awesome
great.
movie. It covers multiple genres. Another movie that I want to touch on is new, and I don't know if I'm going to say it's my favorite, but it definitely gets tossed in the ring. Is Days of Future Past. As we throw the trailer on to watch that, I love it, and that's saying a lot because I was a huge fan of the first two X-Men movies, especially X2, X-Men United. It's X-Men United was in my top 5 for a long time as best comic book movies.
Okay.
And then it lost a lot of the franchise lost a lot of steam with 3 and Origins Wolverine. But with First Class they brought it back. But this just was
And
the
then tie
icing.
them together. I mean, you gotta give them major.
And then to tie the 2 franchises
excellent,
together,
excellent.
fucking
Because
come
it's
on.
like, okay, we know. I mean, as a creator, you're like, we know we didn't do a good job with this other one, but we're gonna make it up to you.
You know, once again, kudos to great writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
And character development.
And character development.
Everything else that we may or may not like about the movie, you know, the special effects, the character designs. I mean, just, you know, you can make it look as cool as you want, but I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
If the story, especially when you have stuff like this with the X-Men that has so much rich lore to pull from, there's no reason you shouldn't have a good story.
No reason.
There's
at all.
no reason. You have so much lore and canon to pull from. Do it right. Two things from the X-Men movies that I want to talk about. You've seen good action scenes like in Man of Steel and Watchmen. You've seen good action scenes. The thing that the X-Men are known for in the comic books is their ability to fight together as a team. And I thought you saw good glimpses of that in X2 in the first X-Men movie, but Days of Future Past, those future scenes when they're fighting the Sentinels, I thought that was some of the best.
Yeah, no, that was really creative.
Really creative as far as how the mutants were working together with the different powers, and it was.
I mean, that probably has a lot to do with the tying in, you know, the original ones when they did show up working very well as a team.
Yeah.
And then you grab these other ones and mix them together. They did a good job of really blending the whole world.
Yeah, and they were.
It's tough to just like take it as just one single movie and then take them all but just push them together.
And they did such a good job of it, and the movie's not even that long. I mean, it's a little over 2 hours, but they cram a lot. There's no wasted scenes. But for as many mutants that are in this, I mean, you have the old mutants that are in the 70s, in the 70s with the young Professor X and young Xavier, all those mutants, all the mutants in the future, and then they throw in mutants like Quicksilver or the mutants that are at the military base when Mystique goes to them. But nobody feels like they get shorted in the mutant scenes. Every mutant feels like
and
they.
I didn't feel shorted after watching them.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
came
like-
out feeling like, you know what? There wasn't anything that I expected that I didn't see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was. Those are some, and one movie that we got. I'm gonna throw it in there. It's gonna wrap us up. I don't know if we're gonna get to see the whole trailer, but I'm gonna throw in as much as we can. The Avengers. I gotta give some props to the Avengers and throw it in there. It's an awesome movie. That was another movie where you didn't. That's Marvel doing something we had never seen with them.
As far as teamwork goes.
Yeah, and then bringing all those different franchises
Yeah.
together.
I
How
mean,
they built that.
That was very smart to do.
Yeah.
Very smart.
I think they did
I can't wait to see how far that they go, and then especially you got things like this hopefully this Justice League coming up too. I hope that they're able to do something similar.
Yeah.
I know that they're supposedly not even paying attention to the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, not to take away from those because those are all great movies, but I'd like to see where this goes. It's got a good progression.
Yeah, and they're like we talked
Avengers
about.
put up a lot of. I mean, they got a big bar.
Yes, they do. And we talked about that in the last one, how they're kind of doing it the opposite of what Avengers did, while they're giving you the group picture first, and then they're going to tell the individual stories.
But I think that's because of the fact that we are already so familiar with these characters.
Oh, yeah.
We are so familiar with Superman. We are so familiar with Batman, especially Batman. How many Batman movies have we had?
Yeah,
And
Batman-
other than Batman and Robin. God rest their.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out on the street and ask people about these characters, and people that never even saw the movies are going to be able to tell you at least a couple of things about the characters.
Yeah. Everybody knows what the bat signal is.
You know,
Everybody knows the Superman insignia.
Exactly.
These are.
And you
Parents
mix those
killed.
two together, and all you get is epic. And then you throw Zack Snyder on it,
Yeah.
and you and me. I mean, we're both like, "Hey, come on, Zack Snyder,
Yeah,
show us."
So do you think Superman versus Batman: Dawn of Justice has a chance to be the greatest comic book movie ever?
I think it has a chance.
Yeah. The thing is, you're bringing some of the most well-known characters in all of comicdom together into a film. I mean,
Capable of their own movies on their own.
the possibilities are absolutely crazy.
Absolutely
what
crazy.
you can do.
I agree.
I mean, that's what's up.
The crows have spoken, and as the wolf howls, so do we wrap up another edition of That's What's Up. That's What's Up. You know how we do. It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. I got my man Dan to the left, Aaron to the right. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos we got. We're going to be coming with more videos, more topics, more Game of Thrones discussions, some video game discussions coming up in the next couple of weeks. You guys keep it locked right here. We're going to keep bringing the content for y'all. Until next week, peace.